That my latest book is entitled I'm Not Every Woman. And I encourage every woman to pick it up. I know Chaka Khan said, I'm every woman and it's all in me. It ain't all in me. There's just some things I will not do, some places I will not go, some folks I won't even hang out with because it ain't all in me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and there are over 8 billion people in the world, and God only created one me. That makes me royal. It makes me special. It means that when God made me, it broke the mold. So every time I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror and I say, God, you really did that thing, because I'm not every woman. And I think every woman ought to learn to celebrate herself and not talk about yourself, no matter whether you are a size 2 or a size 26, whatever size you are. Thank God for the sirloin steak that helped you get there, and celebrate who you are. A book by Philip Bobbitt called The Shields of Achilles. And in this book, he says, we no longer live in the age of the nation state, but we live in the age of the market state. In the market state, the success or failure of the state is measured entirely by the capacity to consume more. To support this conclusion, Time magazine reported that Americans buy around 7,400 products permitted in the United States. According to the annual retail trade survey, e-commerce sales increased from 571 billion to 850 billion in 2020. We strive to get more all the time because we have been conditioned to do this by multi-generational influence. Each year, the data confirms that our spending habits have increased over the years, especially after online shopping was introduced, because the internet has now become the largest and the biggest mall in the world. Whether you are a person of lower economic status or you strive with the elite class of the wealthy, we all live in a world where we rely on money for food, for shelter, and for material things. We learn from research that materialism, or to be materialistic, means to have values that put a high priority on making a lot of money and having many possessions. Statistics suggest that we love material comfort. We love giving to ourselves. Somewhere along the way, we have been convinced that buying things are necessary means to appear affluent and successful. So we seek security in having goods and possessions. We seek security in having things, sometimes more than what we need, because we have been persuaded that our possessions, what we have, signals our status. We have been persuaded that what we have signals our wealth, our social standing, and how others perceive us. The problem with materialism is not that it exists, but that it dominates. We love buying gifts for ourselves. Even if we go to the store to buy a gift for somebody else, you have to admit that you find yourself throwing something in the basket just for you. We enjoy gifting ourselves. Self-gifting is very popular. Self-gifting is what you present to yourself. And there is nothing wrong with self-gifting, because the Lord promised to bless us. We are a blessed people. We are better off now in our lives than ever before. We are better off today in terms of material things than previous generations. We are wealthier, we are healthier, and we are more prosperous. We are so blessed as a people now that we have choices. We can eat at home or we can eat at a restaurant. If we decide to eat at home, we can call DoorDash to bring it to us, or we can pay for a chef to cook the meal. We have moved from 1-car garage to 3-car garages. Although we can only drive one car at a time, many of us have more than one car for transportation. We started with a closet of clothes. Now we have closet rooms. We've come from our children giving us back rubs and foot massages to having full-day spa treatments at Glen Ivy. We have gone from clip-on nails to tailored manicures and pedicure services. We have moved from sirloin steak at the Sizzler to filet mignon at Ruth Chris. We no longer have to vent to our girlfriends and our male friends because now we have access to the best therapists that insurance can buy. We no longer live in shotgun homes. We now have multi-level estates. We've gone from taking trips down south in the summer with our families to traveling the world. Back in the day, they didn't have passports. They used their cars to travel. Now we can decide whether to fly main comfort or first class, depending on our choices. I call it choice overload. Choice overload is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when you cannot decide because you have so many options to choose from. Some of you were late for church tonight because you couldn't decide which white dress to wear. Trying to decide which designer to pick from held you up and made you late for church. And the moment you say you're not going to buy again, Nordstrom's and Dillard's will send you an email. And in the subject line, it says 50% off for all dresses today. And we find ourselves gifting another gift to ourselves. God has blessed us. We are a blessed people. For God promised in his word that he will bless our lives. You don't ever have to beg God to bless you. You don't ever have to sit here and feel guilty or feel criminal about asking God for something that he has already intended for you to have. He wants to bless us. In Jeremiah 34 and 32 and 41, he says, I will enjoy blessing them. God is talking about his children. The corporal here is that we have limited our blessings because now we are in a dispensation of entitlement. We have tied being blessed to possessing material things. Far too often we have taken the word of God and we have made it very secular, very materialistic. Consequently, people are feeling if I don't have this, if I don't have that, then I'm not blessed. If I don't have a car, if I don't have the house, then I'm not blessed. If I don't get the position, then I'm not blessed. Now, all of a sudden, our relationship with God is in doubt because we are not getting gifts from God. It is a terrible thing, people of God, when we measure our walk with God by what he gives to us and not by what we give to him.